I played every Call of Duty game in 2024, getting stuck into what makes COD great and not so great.
No excuse for equipment failure.
With Modern Warfare 3 being the first COD to join Xbox Game Pass, and with Black Ops 6 on the way, what better time than now in 2024 to rank all 22 Call of Duty games from worst to best. These rankings were decided by the Pure Xbox community on PureXbox.com, so if you disagree with them, then you've only got yourself to blame. But if you weren't involved in the voting, I urge you to join in on the website next time we do something like this. Ahoy folks, I'm Krago, and let's find out what the worst and best Call of Duty of all time is.
Time to bring the heavy stuff. Now we're talking.
Now, our thoughts on Call of Duty Vanguard are likely universally agreed upon. Despite being the most visually spectacular World War II era game, its short and boring campaign, coupled with dull zombie mode, just earns Vanguard the wooden spoon for being the worst Call of Duty game. The opening train car mission was epic and the multiplayer wasn't bad. Aside from that, Call of Duty Vanguard just was not it, so let's write it off.
Would you look at that?
Come on, you can make it!
Come on, guys, this isn't funny!
Now, I didn't see Call of Duty 3 placing second to worst, but here we are. When this game came out on the Xbox 360 in 2006, I was all over the online multiplayer and have so many great memories playing it. However, in 2024, I couldn't find a match. There was nobody playing. No surprises there, to be honest. But playing Call of Duty 3's campaign in 2024 was quite interesting. You can see a lot of Treyarch's DNA in this one. While they obviously have gone on to perfect their craft over the years, Call of Duty 3 is a clunky juvenile version of their vision. It was cool to see so many different armies and fight alongside another foul-mouthed Scott once again, but Call of Duty 3 just doesn't have that Special Forces sauce.
I just want to sit back and watch the view.
Hey, Private. Welcome back to the pit.
Whoever decided to ship an epic remastered version of Modern Warfare 2 without online multiplayer really mucked up. The title, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, it should have set expectations, just the campaign. The single player experience is fantastic, but missing out on the multiplayer side of this just hurts. I just wanted to waste folks on Favela with my remastered Spas shotgun, let's be real. Missed opportunity.
That's what I'm talking about!
Everyone is dead. I am alone. I am not unfamiliar with such scenarios.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4 shipped without a campaign, but still offered a solid multiplayer experience. And I will genuinely back this that I loved the PvP back in 2018, and I still think it holds up. However, it didn't feel like a typical COD game. The Specialists turned it into more of a hero shooter with some unbalanced and messy aspects. However, the Blackout Warzone mode and zombies were solid. I think having played it again in 2024, it just rekindled how much I like how it plays. So I think I'll keep Black Ops 4 installed after this video.
Enemy down.
Ethan! What's the Navy's official policy for a gunfight? Send in the Marine!
Honestly, I don't understand why Infinite Warfare is ranked 18th. Its campaign has one of the most epic cinematic openers of any COD game. In fact, I'll say it's the best. The freedom to take on side missions before progressing with a seriously top-tier campaign was a sweet addition. And bumping off Conor McGregor was fun too. Whilst jetpacks were tiresome at this point, Infinite Warfare's campaign definitely deserved more appreciation. It just does.
You're my commanding officer, Captain. My mission is you.
RPG! 11:30 a.m. December 11th, 2054.
Treyarch honestly went on a future sci-fi bender with Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Shooting robots just isn't as fun as the real thing. And I get that kind of makes me sound like a maniac, but it's just not. And anybody who's played a game where robots are the enemies kind of knows what I'm talking about. However, Black Ops 3 refined the jetpack gameplay for the better. No more of that advanced warfare yuckiness. Blah. As disjointed and awkward as the campaign is in Black Ops 3, there's something so freaking cool about Christopher Maloney just stopping time mid-train explosion to spill the tea like you're some sort of Jake Gyllenhaal in source code. It was awesome. As for zombies, that also returned in a much better way than in Black Ops 2.
Go!
Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. Now, this wasn't the remaster I hoped for. If Infinity Ward had applied the tech upgrade effort from Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remaster to Modern Warfare with its multiplayer intact, then we would have had a winner. Tying the purchase of the Modern Warfare Remastered to Infinite Warfare as a bundle at launch was also kind of cheeky. But playing this in 2024 was fun, so I'll definitely be keeping it installed.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Search him.
You scared, Captain? You should be.
Shut up.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. This is, of course, the latest entry in the reboot series, and it's obviously the reason why I'm making this video, as it's the first COD to land on Xbox Game Pass. But sitting in 15th spot on this list, let us hope that we're likely to see some of our favorites come to the service sooner rather than later. But as for the game itself, it's pretty good from a technical standpoint. Modern Warfare 3's changes to what its predecessor did to multiplayer and Warzone were fixed, speeding things up to what fans were used to. But for the most part, the campaign is a big letdown. It's short and it felt rushed. Zombies too, for that matter. Modern Warfare 3 felt like Warzone was the priority, and campaign and zombies were adapted rather than having their own dedicated spaces. It's still a fun time, but it could definitely be better.
These men are not welcome in my country. I intend to.
Kids, guns, and balloons. There's a new one.
So I don't know how you guys are going to take this, but I genuinely loved the reboot Modern Warfare 2. The single-player story is considerably long for a COD campaign. It launched on both Xbox One and series generations of consoles and looked technically impressive on both. And there are so many positives to this game in my opinion. However, I'm hesitant to say how much I enjoy. I'll say I prefer the heftier, slower gameplay that was offered up in multiplayer. It's clear that Modern Warfare 2 didn't land with the core COD player base, and it's widely hated for how poorly it mucked up Warzone, but for what it served me and my needs, I was really pleased with this one. So,
Choices have consequences.
All Bravo, we got movement out here.
On the way.
Okay, everyone knows what to do this time. Get into position.
Now, how on earth is Advanced Warfare better than Infinite Warfare? Make this make sense to me, people. Sure, we got the iconic press F to pay respect meme, but woof, what a stinker Advanced Warfare was. I was one of the lucky folks who swerved the game back in 2014 because the jetpacks and exoskellies just didn't serve me excitement. Sure, the game looked visually spectacular and a massive upgrade to a next-gen COD at the time, but playing this for the first time in 2024 was also a bit of a big yikes because, well, Kevin. Also, the jetpacks just suck. Not to mention, Zombies didn't launch with the main game, instead packaged it up as a paid DLC, and that Exo Survival mode is dumb. I'll just go on the record and say that I straight up hate this one, but hey, this takes 13th spot, so lucky for some, unlucky for others.
Sloppy, Mitchell.
I'll admit that I missed out on Ghost back in the day, but playing it in 2024, I have a few irks with how this game was handled. I suppose the first thing to point out is that Call of Duty Ghost tanked. It didn't do well. It didn't do well at all. But I don't necessarily think that all of the blame lies with the game. Ghost wasn't the next Modern Warfare, and it had to follow Black Ops 2, which, let's be real, any game that followed Black Ops 2 was always going to be under a very heavy magnifying glass because of how good its predecessor was. The single-player campaign was fine, they introduced Riley, this cute and adorable murder dog, and there was a bunch of forgettable multiplayer maps. And an alien spin on the zombies mode, which, honestly, I just couldn't get behind. Extinction is just bad. But to summarize, Ghosts, it wasn't bad, it was just destined to fail, being compared to Black Ops 2 in a negative light. It's a shame, really.
Come on, Dad. You don't honestly believe that story's true?
Yeah, I do.
Now, there's been a few COD games where I expected or didn't expect to find a multiplayer game in 2024, but I was kind of surprised by the OG Modern Warfare 3 still having so many players. But has anyone checked on Modern Warfare 3 lately? What is this? Multiplayer, when it's not hacked, was fine. But what I loved about Modern Warfare 3 was how it wrapped up the story of Captain Price and Task Force 141. It was a story that a lot of us gamers around my age were enamored with growing up, and I think Modern Warfare 3 stuck the landing. I think it was the first time, at least for me, where Spec Ops actually felt like it was up there with Zombies. It was still not as good because Zombies is, well, zombies, but it was pretty good.
Take the Bangalore and get to the seawall!
After years of jetpacks, robots, and sci-fi space fantasy, it was a breath of fresh air to see the FPS franchise return to its roots in Call of Duty World War II. Sledgehammer Games fully deserve respect for what they did with this one. I'd even consider it to be one of the best, if not the best, Xbox One PS4 generation COD game. What we had here was a campaign that felt like hit TV shows such as Band of Brothers and The Pacific. That tight-knit Brothers in Arms feel that really drove this visually spectacular campaign through each mission to the next. So far, it's even my favorite Zombies mode, with the game opting for a darker, creepier tone overall. But also David Tennant! I am so happy to see the GOAT as a playable zombie slayer. Whilst the combat was a little arcadey and slightly basic in comparison to some of its predecessors, it's still a worthy title deserving of 10th spot.
Copy that, Sergeant.
All right. Glad you could join us, Hans. You remember me.
Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Now this one felt like Treyarch had fully figured out their own formula, with a mind-bending and cinematic campaign that delivers several epic set-piece moments. And I can't really complain about it. I also liked that you could put yourself into the game too, just your name, which is then codenamed as Bell, so kind of pointless, but still fun. Zombies worked well for the most part too, although I did find the frame rate suffered a little bit on the Xbox Series X in the early stages of the campaign. Coming after 2019's Modern Warfare reboot, however, it felt like a technical step back. That and the multiplayer felt like it borrowed a lot from previous Black Ops games and didn't do enough to up the experience. All in all, it's a solid COD game. Now, I don't have much to say about Call of Duty Classic, mainly because out of all the COD games, I didn't get to play this one. My Xbox 360 doesn't exist anymore, and I just couldn't get my hands on it. Let's be real, this is the granddaddy of COD, the beginning of everything we've talked about and what's still to come. So, I suppose we should pay our respects and just move on to the next game. Cheers for everything, COD!
We need to keep this on a tight loop. Barkov's men are moving the gas tonight.
2019's Modern Warfare reboot honestly kept the FPS franchise relevant. Infinity Ward genuinely knocked it out the park with this one. In fact, this laid the groundwork for everything we're playing in Warzone today. The game launched on a new engine, upping the level of detail and quality to new heights, and it felt grounded and gritty. Now, I was impressed with how good this looked on Xbox One in 2019, but playing Modern Warfare in 2024 on a 4K monitor, this kid sings, man. It's a stunning game, realistic detail, hefty and weighty gunplay, makes it absolutely top tier.
Wait! What are you doing? No!
They are weak! We must finish them!
When Black Ops 2 was announced back in the day, it was nice to see what sub-franchises COD wanted to push, as we now know are Modern Warfare and Black Ops. It was cool to see the flashback style of campaign established in Black Ops come back for its sequel, this time placing the story in and outside of the future, which is the first time I think COD has done this. The campaign was just as gritty and jarring, I suppose in a good way, as the first game, and with Black Ops 6 on the way, it's clear to see how much we love this story, its characters, and how Treyarch handles its entries. Gunplay was smoother than it was in the first game, which is basically all we want from any sequel, and the multiplayer was phenomenal. Zombies was a bit of a swing and a miss, but with a campaign as good as it was in Black Ops 2, hey, you're forgiven.
Sir, there's a German attack forming to the southeast. It looks serious.
Call of Duty 2. This is where my COD journey probably began. It was the first game that I played in the franchise. mainly on its multiplayer, but I'll never forget the campaign moment placing charges on a Nazi stronghold and watching it get blown to bits in crisp 720 HD. That moment blew my tiny little brain back in the day, and to be honest, it still holds up pretty well. Despite World War II feeling a smidge overdone at this point, with Medal of Honor kind of doing the same, COD 2 is where we really started to see Infinity Ward settle into its vision for gameplay. I really wish I could have played a multiplayer match in 2024, but still, loading into the Burgundy map was a happy punch to the nostalgia. What a game.
East Ridge. There's a 12mm on the point.
What's more perfect than Call of Duty World at War? Well, even though this iteration of COD Zombies doesn't hit the same in 2024 as it once did, this is the birthplace of COD Zombies. I found myself wanting more than just running around in circles fending off a train of legless zombies, but hey, you've got to respect your roots, you know? For zombies alone, I can see why World at War is so high up on the list, but if we add the stellar campaign mode and a ridiculously addictive multiplayer on top of it all, it's honestly so hard to beat. Call of Duty World at War is such a good Call of Duty game, honestly.
Shooting right through!
Break's over, Roach. Let's go.
When I think of Call of Duty, the first game that typically comes to mind is Modern Warfare 2. I'm sure many of you feel similarly. Modern Warfare 2 was one of, if not the smoothest shooter of the Xbox 360 generation. It built upon everything its predecessor laid down, with some of the most memorable single-player campaign missions to date. Sure, there is a fair bit that just doesn't fly in modern gaming, with controversial missions like No Russian, but for the most part, when you think of anything Call of Duty, you'll most likely be thinking of something from Modern Warfare 2. The multiplayer, however, was unbalanced, but that was what it was like in the wild world of 2009. However, Spec Ops was just straight up crap and didn't hold a candle to zombies. Still a really good game though.
Are they on? Negative. They're just watching us.
I know when you're lying.
Now, you can't talk about Black Ops without being in the chair. This right here is iconic. From this very first moment, choosing your game mode from the chair, to the novel Cold War setting, Call of Duty Black Ops tells undoubtedly the best story throughout the entire franchise. The mystery of the numbers, Sam Worthington screaming every 5 seconds, but most importantly, the groundwork for everything Black Ops going forward. Zombies received much more attention, and Treyarch was absolutely killing it. Kino de Toten, you know, will forever be etched into my brain, like those blasted numbers were in Masons. What a game, but apparently still not the best.
Big Bird, this is Bravo 6. We're on our way out. On your feet, soldier. We are leaving.
Well, it definitely didn't take a rocket scientist to guess that we'd end up here. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. If we look at all the leaps from one COD game to the next and what that did for and to the franchise, I don't think there's any leap bigger than the one between Call of Duty 3 and Modern Warfare. Contextually, at the time, the COD community was itching for a shift in setting, anything other than World War II, and boy did we get one. There was something so extremely cool about a bunch of gruff and bearded special forces chaps and modern weapons taking on a global threat that just felt epic beyond measure. Modern Warfare 2 definitely smoothed out and enhanced the kinks that we found in Call of Duty 4, but to this day, it's still a really smooth experience. Whilst I've disagreed with some of the placements throughout this video, I've got no complaints here. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is our best Call of Duty game, well, for the time being anyway. Do you agree or disagree with the rankings? Which COD game should you see higher or lower? And which one takes the worst and best spot for you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to have your say before we make the next list, then be sure to keep your eye on PureXbox.com for more polls like this one. All that's left to say is bye-bye for now. Cheerio!